week in racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael and Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of the shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last thoughts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is The Magic Mike Show, episode 334. Mr. Somich.
Huzzah!
The weather in Los Angeles, you would think that this was... I was watching Laurel Park earlier. It's the same exact way as Laurel Park. It is rainy as F out here. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. It cost us the chance to go to Santa Anita this weekend. We were going to do the Santa Anita Pick 4, and like normally it's like Belmont and Saratoga and like the East Coast tracks you have to worry about raining off the turf. We're kind of worried about it raining off the turf at Santa Anita this weekend. What a weird feeling.
Yeah, the way it's going, I mean, it literally is still... I'll look... It literally is still raining pretty hard right now. There's people in ponchos going by outside. It's raining so hard out here that I don't even think they'll be... I would guess that they'll be good on the dirt track and they'll be off the turf tomorrow and try and save it for Saturday. But even if they run on the turf Saturday, I don't know what condition it'll be in. So it's a lot easier. Let's go to Gulfstream where it's been 80. Larry Coleman today was like, yeah, it's 81 and sunny here. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty damn fantastic. That's what it's supposed to be like here. So we know that we're going to be on the turf, which will be firm for a race. But we also have two claiming races on the Tapeta to bookend this sequence. This is going to be fun. What is nice, Mike, is that we've now had, 2 months worth of Gulfstream Tapeta races. I was watching Gulfstream earlier today to watch the Tapeta races specifically to see how it was playing and how things went. So at least if this was like opening weekend for Gulfstream with the Tapeta and they put them on the bookends, I'd be like, no way. Get out of here with that.
Well, it's interesting. Today was the first day we've had front runners win on the Tapeta. We had two of them. So all of a sudden you are starting to see that rotation that we talked about where eventually the Tapeta is going to be more what I call a more fair version of that track. You're going to see it firm up. I think you're starting to see that. We had a horse that was a big-time price win a duel on the front end going 2 turns on the Tapeta, which it'd been like impossible to do going into today. So it's interesting to kind of see speed holding a little bit better. So I'd be a little more wary of speed going into this weekend than I was last weekend.
Yeah, well, I will say that the last race that was on the Tapeta that was one gate to wire, it was a 6-horse field. So I watched that and I went, speed hell. Wait, no, it was 6 horses. Well, I'm going to forget about that one. Because then it followed with an aqueduct race. It was a mile and an eighth and there were 5 horses on the dirt. My family fell asleep during that aqueduct race because between the Gulfstream and the aqueduct, it was just like, oh my God, can these things just end already?
I can't believe we got 860 on Maiden Beauty. That was a great price on that 2 horse. There was lone speed on lone speed. You had a couple horses who were chasing it. I was so happy to get 860 on that horse. And then another horse that we're going to talk about. Can I just start talking about this horse now? Horse named Total Effort runs in the last race at Aqueduct. And there are certain horses that you just are supposed to fade. I don't know if you saw this horse. Did you see it or no?
I might have.
Okay, Total Effort. This is one of those where the radar just has to pop up immediately when you see something like this. Total Effort runs at Gulfstream today. It was a 3 to 5 morning line shot in the last race. The horse was running. This is a maiden 20, right? So maiden 20 going a mile on the dirt. The horse debuted at Aqueduct on November 11th in an $80,000 maiden special weight. It's a run happy that sold for $290,000. So they dropped it. One race, maiden special 80. All the way down to 20,000. The kicker in the maiden special weight race, the horse, and now I got to find the freaking thing again. Oh, nope, that's not it. Yep, that's it. The horse went off at 16-1. So a run happy son for Todd Pletcher sells for $290,000, goes off at 16-1, immediately drops down to 20,000 maiden claiming, 3 to 5. Guess what? Horse ran up the track. That's red lights all over the place, right? It's one of those where you just got to say, okay, this horse isn't good. They're not giving up on this thing that fast. Start debuting at Aqueduct, giving up that fast, and the horse didn't get bet. Those 3 things just tell you that the horse can't run.
Plus, gelded in April of its 2-year-old year. They looked at it in April and went, fuck. All right, snippets. Yeah. See if this gives them a little bit of a little 5% booster. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So when you see things like that, you just kind of got to say, okay, I got to take a shot here. And the race was terrible. It was atrocious. But the 3-horse Isora ends up wiring the field, get a nice price on it. And we can roll right into the best thing I saw today. It was going to be that the Blues were leading the division going into the new year. But we now have a double carryover mandatory payout pick six at Aqueduct tomorrow. So it's a $1 denomination. So
that's right.
So you're going to get a pretty big pool. It's $168,000 going into the carryover, and it's mandatory because it's the end of the year, and New York state law says you cannot carry over from one year to the next. So we get a nice little pick six pool to play tomorrow, my friend.
All right, that'll be fun. Yeah, Aqueduct with the pick six. By the way, if you joined Mike and I for yesterday morning, it was just kind of a last-second idea that Mike had to cover Parks' closing pick five for their little meet, because now they'll kind of like New York, they got to start over for the next year. So they'll be back next week. But we covered that on the show. And Mike was like, the first four legs, it was horses exactly that Mike had talked about, was like, play this horse. I like this horse because of this. And you were alive for a couple horses for $1, a couple more for $6. You had $1 and $5 tickets going. And you didn't get it done, and you lost the photo. I felt so bad for you. But overall, I thought it was a success for the show.
It was good. Hopefully people played pick threes through it. I had, luckily, was rolling $10 pick threes, which connected in the first two of that sequence. So it wasn't a total loss for the day. But it's funny because I went back and I watched what I said about that 9, and I specifically am like, I don't like that we have a 3% jockey. That 3% jockey was a problem in the end. Let's just put it that. I got in a little bit of trouble around the turn and then decided to go inside instead of outside down the lane. When you're low-level horses, always go outside. And to be fair, the 6 horse who had never, ever held in his life before did go out to the 5 pass, so it would have been tough to go out to the 6. But man, that was frustrating because they were like 8 lengths the best too. There was no one else even close to those 2 horses.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough for my sob fest. I'm gonna take it all back tomorrow at Aqueduct. I'm taking down that double carrying over.
It was a lot of fun. I'm very sorry that your ticket didn't hit, because obviously I want you to succeed. And it would have been also be like, hey, look, we did this live show and we gave away the ticket.
People had it too. I got a lot of DMs
you did?
about that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, about those horses yesterday. So it would have been, because we said go short in the 2 legs that were tough.
Yeah.
And the top pick wins them both. And it's just
yes.
Like, come on.
I did catch that. Yeah, which was a great experiment. If you missed it, what we did was a little different than what we're doing on this show, more normal Magic Mike show, where we looked at a race and talked about horses maybe that we thought you should use, or maybe horses that were vulnerable and don't use them. But then at the end of the sequence, we said, okay, which is the most likely singled horse by the public? And therefore, that's the horse you want to play against, which, by the way, we called it. We said play against Misinterpret. She got 3rd, and the horse that you loved in that race, in the Futurity, ended up winning that. So that was pretty awesome. But we're going to, we had 70 people watching at one point. So hopefully, if you guys like that, we're going to do this more often and keep that going, because that was a lot of fun. And again, to come that close to get the first 4 legs and sweat it out there in the finale, it was a lot of fun.
And Kevin O, if you're watching, I owe you a t-shirt, so shoot me a DM on Twitter too. I'll send that over your way.
Awesome. I didn't want to bring it up on air in case you had forgotten about it, but yeah, on the show, Mike said put a comment in below and with your top choice for each of the 5 legs, and whoever connects or has the best ticket overall will end up getting a free shirt. So that's awesome. Kevin O is a longtime supporter and watcher too, so I'm happy that he's going to get that t-shirt sent out.
And we'll run that back too. So for this sequence, we'll do the exact same thing. So at the end of the show, once it's over, you can comment underneath the video, put your top pick in each race, and whoever has the most winners wins a free t-shirt. And if we have a tie, it goes to whoever has the highest win total gets that free t-shirt. Best
return on it. The best thing for me that I saw this week, by the way, I'm wearing, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm wearing a old school LA Kings jersey. It's the Wayne Gretzky 99 with the Captain C on it, because hockey was going so great, Mike. Everything was going so well, and then this latest COVID variant screwed everything up, and we just keep getting canceled and postponed and canceled and postponed. I'm putting on the jersey of Wayne Gretzky because I'm praying to him, please do whatever it takes to bring hockey back. I missed it. But the best thing that I saw this week, incredible to be a geek. Book of Boba Fett debuted yesterday. Yeah. I really love that. The rest of the family was asleep, I think, a third of the way through the episode, but I loved it. Finally saw Spider-Man No Way Home. I really loved that. And then, of course, at the end of that is the trailer for Doctor Strange 2, which is my favorite Marvel character. So, yeah, great week to be a nerd. I was really excited about everything.
Strong Magic Week. Definitely strong Magic Week.
Yes.
So I'm happy for you, man. I watched Boba Fett too. Mixed emotions there. Never been a huge Star Wars guy, but just kind of giving it a shot because it's on Disney Plus. So mixed emotions on it. We'll see. I'll probably watch out because I do like Mandalorian. So we'll probably let it go and see how it ends up.
It's definitely a little slower to get going. There's almost no dialogue in the first episode, so it's a lot of show, not tell. So it's a little slower. I don't recommend watching it at 9 at night with a cocktail in hand because you're very well gonna do what the rest of my family did, which was fall asleep. But hopefully we will keep you awake as we preview Saturday's late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park. We've got 2 stakes included in this for 3-year-olds, freshly turned 3-year-olds. We have the Dania Beach on turf, and then we also have the Mucho Macho Man on dirt. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Mike, let's get into it. Riders up. Looks like I'm kicking off the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park by myself. Mike disappeared. He ran away real quick. I'll cover things until he returns here. Kicking off the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, January 1st. Happy New Year to you, by the way, if you're listening to this on that day. Hey, now, Mike Somich with the LA Kings jersey. I love it. Who's on the back of it?
Little early, it's a blank. Little early, what we learned on Thursday. Mike can't run to the bedroom closet and back during the Riders Up thing, but we got it anyway. We're good to go.
You took off. I thought you were shutting the door. It took a little long. That's okay. You didn't miss anything. Race 8 is a synthetic route for 10 fillies and mares 4 and up. Non-winners of 2 lifetime in for 12.5 tags. Drop down to 10 if you want that weight allowance. Oh boy. Favoritism is on number 2, Perfect Kimberly S at 3-1. Number 3, La Ruscia is 7-2. Mike, where'd you go on top here?
I went out to Askew, the 6 horse here, and I did this without morning line, so I'm interested to kind of see what these are as they pop up. I went
9-2.
6 Askew, 9-2. I like that. Look, I don't generally love horses that face winners for the first time, but this is an interesting scenario here. First off, we have a 4-year-old, not a 3-year-old, so I take that as a plus. Secondly, debuted for $80,000 at Churchill Downs, then won at 16,000 maiden claiming level here over this Topeka course at Gulfstream Park. The drop or the placement here is a good placement, right? 16,000 maiden claimers to 12.5, non-winners to 2 lifetime is the right placement for this horse. We're not trying to go 25, not trying to go 30 or 35. We're not getting overly aggressive. We're properly placing the horse. Sister Sin doing a good job, just like we normally see. So I'm going to go with the 6 Askew on top here. I think this is the well placed, and I like the fact that the horse has some tactical speed and should be coming late, which again is what I've been looking for in the Topeka before today.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not going to let today kind of askew my perception of how the Topeka plays. This is actually my top pick as well, so I got really excited when you did this. And for all the reasons that you said, I don't love a horse that's first time facing winners. She's only got 2 starts to her name, but that's kind of why I like her in this spot because, as you mentioned, very perfectly positioned in this race. The second choice on the morning line, La Ruscia, she is on an 0 for 22 run. The second choice in this race is 0 for her last 22. Why would you not play this horse? Because she hasn't had 22 straight disappointments for you. She literally won over this course and distance last out. So, yeah, I'm with you on this one. I went 3 deep on here, but who'd you use next up?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to dislike the other horses, so it makes it a lot easier to end up on the 6 Askew. Look, I think the 5 Tidal Waters is really interesting here. So I had this was my other must-use horse out of the Trombetta barn. Ran a lot at 5 and 5.5 furlongs over the turf. Now we're stretching out, going 2 turns for the first time. I like the last race in the Topeka where we get a 56 buyer. It's a career high buyer coming off the layoff. First time late in the 4-year-old season. We get a second start here late in the 4-year-old season. I like the fact we kept blinkers on, and we're going to do it again one more time here. I think this horse should be fit and ready to go. Gonzalez has been riding well. I like the 6-1 price. Happy to see that. So for me, I'm going to go with the 5 and the 6 here on top. I did go 4 deep. I ended up using the 3. Kind of don't love the 3 here, but I have my ticket's really cheap, so I'm not overly worried about spending too much money with the 3. And I added the 2 as well. Perfect Kimberly S. The race 2 back on the 2 horses really what stood out to me. It was a nice move over the Topeka course last time out. Wasn't as nice, but I think that just the added distance might have been the issue more than anything else there for the 2 horse who kind of made a move and then just flattened out. So for me, I ended up with the 2, 3, 5, and 6 here to kick this puppy off.
Boy, I didn't like either one of those short-priced favorites in this race. But I just saw Jason's comment. He's got his Vegas Golden Knights jersey on. That's awesome. I'm going to pass on both of them in this spot. I think these horses are all bad enough that I think it's okay to take shots against them here. Especially, I went pretty chalky later, so I wanted to take a shot somewhere. I thought this was a good way to do it. I talked about La Ruscia, how she's on an 0 for 22 streak, and that's why I want to play against her. I agree with you on the 5. This was my second horse. Or no, I'm sorry. I went 3 deep, and this was the last one I used, but I love the fact that we're stretching out. Just how the 7, or I'm sorry, how Askew, the 6 horse, hasn't disappointed us against winners. This horse hasn't disappointed us against routers because she hasn't tried it. So who knows? I mean, speed could hold off. You talked about a couple times how that was working earlier today. I like the fact that they tried the Tapeta last time out, and she got bumped a couple of times, but and it kind of ran in place. But they didn't leave the Tapeta. They went, okay, hang on, let's just stretch her out now. They think that Tapeta might actually be what she's good at. So that's, I'm going to go ahead and go with that route as well. Did we lose? Oh, we lost the connection, didn't we? I'll get it back there. The last horse I'm going to use here is the 7, Hardly Social. And this is a horse I told you off air. I was a little confused why it was 15-1 because she's exiting a race where we have several horses coming out of a 10K claimer going a mile and a 16th over this course. I thought that she was the best horse in the race. I watched the replay. I actually think she would have won that race. You see in the trip notes it said that she altered course. The winner, Danzatail, literally just kept coming out and out and out and out and out. And finally, Berrios was just like, God, and he dove her inside. And I think that cost her, if not the win, she could have missed by a nose or a head there. So I'm going to use her in this spot. I thought she looked really great there, especially I think she's got a great closing kick. My concern, Berrios was forced to do that trip because she got bumped a lot at the start.
Yeah.
But that was his first time riding her. So I'm like, if he purposely does this, it brings her back to like mid-pack, we're fine. If it's the races 2 and 3 back where he's like, yeah, let's run her close, you're fucking done.
Yeah, or 4 back or 5 back. I mean, any of those. And that's Now the other thing that you've mentioned, I'm surprised is 15-1. I'm not. There's not a single race on the page that wins the race, right? Now the last one you could say maybe, but like the 6 is better than that last race from the 7. So the 7 needs to improve. And now the 7 has taken steps forward every time on the Tapeta here. So you could make an argument that's going to happen. But the different style was what really caught my eye about that, where the horse was forced to close and was able to do it. Now the track is favoring closers when that happened too. So you also have to take a step back and say, okay, well, maybe the track really played into this effort from this horse versus the horse learning to do something new. The other issue I have is the price that this horse has gone off at. We haven't seen this horse sub 10-1 since June 25th, 2021. That was 8 starts ago. And the last 3 went off at a robust 21, 51, and 46-1, respectively. So, yeah, you're going to get every bit of 15-1. Yes. Look, man, I don't hate the idea of trying to take a shot against the 2 or the 3. This is like, I'm playing consistency here versus playing horses I think are definitely going to be able to get the job done because I think this field is just a mess. But that's why I ended up on the 5 and the 6. Look, I can't hate on them. Because the 6 horse has done nothing wrong in Tapeta, and the 5 horse has done nothing wrong going 2 turns. So, I mean, if you want to just go 5-6 here on a shorter $5 ticket, I don't hate that either. I know Magic is going to single a leg. I'm going to single a leg. You just go 2 deep here, go single, and see what happens in the last.
Speaking of Magic singling, let's get to that race right now. The second leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, January 1st. We're going onto the turf for the Dania Beach Stakes. This is a mile-long turf route for 8 freshly turned 3-year-old males. And the favoritism is on number 5, Shansu for Todd Pletcher at 3-1. And his stablemate, Grand Sonata, all the way outside number 8 for Todd Pletcher is a 7-2 second choice. Mike, I singled up Grand Sonata here because I thought, well, there's 2 Pletchers, and I think that Shansu is not going to get the early easy lead against this field because of Biz Buzz. So that led me to Grand Sonata here. Is that a bad single?
Well, first off, should we sing Happy Birthday for my boy KC Chief, right? Like, because this is where he's coming back. Do you remember KC Chief?
Yeah.
Big price 2 weeks ago, 13-1, closes out the card, helped me win a couple tournaments, help our fans cash some money. So yeah, KC Chief, what's up, buddy? Happy birthday, man. Congrats on the 3-year-old year. Yeah, look, I don't hate the single. I'm not going to lie. I think Grand Sonata is probably the horse to beat in this spot. I think that some people may move away from this horse because there's 2 Pletchers in here, but the horse hasn't done anything wrong. The first effort was a good effort over the Belmont turf. The second time, the horse wins on an off track, so I'm not going to take anything away from there. Comes back in a stakes race. It has a tough start. It has to steady. It wasn't an easy trip at all for the 8. If you go back and watch that race, the 8 had more. And so I do like Grand Sonata here. I don't think it's a bad single at all. I'm going to spread a little bit because I like the 6 horse Nonay Franklin here at a 10-1 price is my other must-use horse. Look, Nonay Never, very good turf sire. This is another one. Now, it's a maiden going into a stakes race, which for me, sometimes it shows a lot of confidence. When you look at what this horse has done, I think it's a positive. The horse ran really well going 5 furlongs on the turf. They tried to stretch it out into a 7-furlong turf stakes. That race gets taken off the turf. Note the horse got bet in both of those spots too. $3.20 each time. This horse has shown the ability to have tactical speed running shorter, has shown the ability to pass horses in both of those situations. And I kind of love that 3 furlong blowout. That's one of your things, right? Right before here, we got a 3 furlong blowout. I think the horse is going to show so tactical early speed, and there's a lot of early speed here, and kind of get first run. So I'm going to go with a 10-1 shot, and I kind of love that price here. I was expecting something in that range, but I'm happy I'm getting double digits here on the 6, No Nay Franklin.
I think if you're going to use one other horse outside of A Pletcher, I think this is the great one to use. And I think you're going to get at least 10-1 on this horse because I think one of the Pletchers, if not both of them, are going to get hammered pretty hard in this spot. By the way, Biz Buzz he's cross-entered in a race on Friday. So I handicapped assuming he's going to be in this race. But if he comes out of this, that makes Chansu the 5-horse lone speed on paper here. So probably rework things on that one. I don't think I could single the stablemate if the other horse is going to be lone speed.
KC Chiefs just like no respect for him, huh? Magic, you don't think you can get the lead?
Time form is not giving. You go talk to Craig about that. Craig Milkowski, if you're mad about that one.
KC Chief will give you his Twitter handle. You can hit him up. I'm using Chansu, whatever the other Pletcher is as well, because I'm not going to get beat by the other Pletcher in this spot. And again, I'm singling the next race. I have a sub $40 ticket, so I'm able to spread a little bit more. The other horse I want to talk about is on the rail. This is actually my third pick in this spot. Father Glado. I love me some Declaration of War horses. We know that. Horse runs twice on synthetic on the Tapeta course, runs well. Second time is able to get the win. Now we're switching over to the turf course, which I actually think this horse is going to run better on for a barn that has started out really hot in this meet, 26% for the Jose D'Angelo barn. And when D'Angelo and Alvarado team up, they're 29% at Gulfstream in the last 2 years, 28% overall. He gets all the good mounts. I think this is a good mount. Like I mentioned, there's a ton of speed in here. This horse wants to come from off the pace. I think the 1 should absolutely trip out from the rail, be able to save all the ground, swing for home. And if he's good enough, 8-1 is a generous price to get on a horse that I think is going to get the right setup, just whether or not we're going to be good enough to get home. So I'm going to end up 4 deep here. I'm going to go with the 1, 5, 6, and the 8.
The one horse that you didn't use that I thought maybe you might is who Nick Feldman said he's going to go ahead and single is the number 2 Smokin' Tea. Fractions were pretty slow in the last race, but it should be pretty forwardly singled. Aaron Halterman is dancing in the background, so either something happened in a college ball game or Aaron loves Smokin' Tea. I think it's the latter on that one. So it's a Warfront colt with Shug, should be getting better each race. I do agree with you on that one. I think that horse is a great candidate to finish second or third in this race. He is making a really nice progression for Shug there, but I just think I think he's 1 race early here.
Yeah, I mean, Smokin' Tea got smoked by Grand Sonata. Ooh. And Grand Sonata was improving at the time, is now better than he was then. So I don't think Smokin' Tea has improved enough to reverse the trend there. I think if you like Grand Sonata as a single, Ice Cold Exacta here, 8-2 might not be a terrible idea because Smokin' Tea has improved with Grand Sonata there and could kind of fit that bill if you think that's the way it's going to go. For me, I think you're covering Smokin' Tea with Grand Sonata, and I think Smokin' Tea's going to have too much to do. I'm not a huge Castellano fan, so there's just enough here where I just kind of like, He also wants to be more forwardly placed. I mean, that 1 win he had, you look at the time, and it's like they went 24-1, 50 seconds flat for a mile on the 16th, and it took him an Aqueduct turf course to be able to break his maiden. Like, it's when we're getting an Aqueduct turf course, that's like running on the turf at Oaklawn. It's just not that impressive anymore.
Very nicely done. Aaron, it was Purdue, Tennessee. Okay. I really thought he was that excited about the 2-horse. The way he reacted in time in live time when it was happening. Wait, but Purdue is winning.
Well, I'm guessing Tennessee just scored, though.
Oh, Tennessee just got an interception. That's what happened. Tennessee just intercepted the ball. Sorry, this is really terrible radio.
Riveting
riveting radio. Sorry. This is why you got to watch live, because otherwise none of this shit makes any sense. We didn't actually talk about my horse other than I was going to single the 8 Grand Sonata. Despite the fact that this horse lost last out in the Central Park Stakes at Aqueduct, the horse got bumped pretty hard at the start. It got steady at the 3/8 pole. You see that in the trip notes. The horse did not have a great trip and still just kept plugging, kept advancing on Side Dog, who I think was like 9-5, the undefeated favorite in that race. 02035, who was second that day. That's a stakes horse continuing on from the Central Park. So the fact that this horse doesn't have a turf win in 3 starts doesn't concern me. The fact that Flavian Pratt was aboard this horse on debut and got second to Slipstream, who subsequently won a stakes race after that. Those are all the reasons that I like the 8. Did I miss anything here?
No, but I'm definitely going to use that line where, if a horse runs second in a stakes, I'm going to call him a stakes horse in the future. That's a good
Stakes
one.
caliber, meaning he's going to keep you just get
Well,
over it.
obviously, he just plays in a stakes race. Of course, he stakes caliber.
Listen, I told Mike off air that before today or yesterday, and this is a tip they kept Aaron because he's in the chat, but Aaron worked very hard with me to make sure that we could get all of our videos and previews and everything up on the YouTube channel yesterday, which, by the way, previews for all of the Kentucky Derby prep races are up there with Aaron's in-depth analysis. And then we also did Oakland Race of the Day previews that are all up there. All of that to say that because this is the last day my family's in town, I wanted to have as much of today to spend with them as possible other than doing the show. I forgot about we were doing the show, so I started drinking. So we got to do the show while Magic is drinking. So Mike's screwing with me a little bit on this one. But Jason's in the chat. He supports me. Listen, we're going to move on. The penultimate leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, January 1st. We got the Mucho Macho Man Stakes, which, Mike, for whatever reason, is not a Kentucky Derby prep race. Some other ones are. This one is not. We usually get at least one runner out of this race to go onto the Kentucky Derby Trail at Gulfstream Park. I don't know if we have anybody here that's going to make that one. You seem to single, or you have a single here that you like here. That's the 6 graphic detail. Second choice on the morning line at 5-2 for Bill Mott. Tell me about him.
Just giving it away, huh? Not even letting me spoil my own single. Yeah, look, this is one of those spots where I kind of went through this. I'm not a huge fan. Look, if Strike Hard rolls, I'll be happy. Because that means the White Barrio, who was our 3rd round pick, is a good horse, right? But I don't really love Strike Hard in this spot. I think 2-1 is way too short. And then you kind of look at Simplification, who's just outside of him. Little more interested, but you've got 2 races that are awful and one that was great. So what's the real Simplification here? I would lean toward the awful because you've got 2 versus 1 example there. So all of a sudden, I don't like the 2. I don't like the 3. The 4 looks like it's in over its head. The 1 horse, who knows what's going on there? Then you look at the 5. Hey, the 5 lost to Strike Hard, so is the blinkers going to make the difference? And then you got the 6 on the outside. Graphic Detail, who I will say is one of the cheapest OXO equine horses I've ever seen.
Right.
$20,000. They usually are plus $500,000 plus every single time.
It's because he's a son of Into Mischief. That's the sire, it's because Into Mischief is the granddad and not the dad. That's why.
But it's the best sire going right now. We talked about
one
this.
turn.
If you watch this, I love me some Practical Joke, and we're going 1 turn here in the Mucho Macho Man. So give me all that Practical Joke. I will take that every single time. And yes, it's a son of Into Mischief, but you know what? This is one of the good sires of Sons of Into Mischief, and this horse did absolutely nothing wrong. Looks super professional. Let's win at Belmont for $90,000. If you look at the workouts here, it's just been rolling right along. Broke its maiden on November 6th. Since then, we've got 2 bullet workouts. We've got a couple other nice tune-ups. The pace setup is going to be nice here. You've got 4 horses that want the lead. This is the one that can stalk and go right on by. I mean, to me, everything sets up here for Graphic Detail to run a big one. And you get Saez up as well. So I'm going to single the 6 here. If you want to single the 8 in the previous race, the 6 here, go 2 deep in that first leg. You play a nice $5 ticket. And if we're rolling, it's going to pay something.
I went against the 6 here because I'm very concerned that I think this is going to be your favorite. Because you had a Bill Mott horse that won on debut, and usually when that happens, that means he thinks the horse has a lot of potential, and that's why you see him go straight into a stakes race here. But I really don't. I'm afraid that he's going to be too short of a price, and especially with the way the rest of my ticket is structured here, I went against him. I'm going to go ahead and use the 5 Skippy Longstocking on top in this race. I'm going to go ahead and believe that right now, at this moment, this is the best horse in this race. A month from now, Graphic Detail probably going to be better than him, but I like the Saffy's adding the blinkers. It's a 24% move for this horse. Tyler Gaffleone is going to stay aboard for the 3rd straight time. If you scratch off the Street Sense 2 back, if you want to say that maybe routing at that point wasn't for him, he broke his maiden over this course and distance, 3 starts back, got that career best buyer, comes back at this same course and distance going against optional claimers, loses to Strike Hard, but in that race, I feel like he got a little crazy in the stretch there, especially about the 16th hole. He started to wander. He started to get lost. Saffy puts the blinkers on, and because of that, I'm going to go ahead and use this horse here. I really think that he's going to get that great trip that he got, a 3 back over the same course and distance when he was able to kind of sit outside, wait, far turn, make his move, and run off. These are good horses, though, and I did also use the 2 Strike Hard. Multiple wins over the course and distance, and like you said, the only horse to beat him at Gulfstream Park going a mile is White Barrio, who we drafted in the Triple Crown Fantasy League that we think is a pretty good horse for Saffy Joseph Jr. That also means Saffy knows how to beat Strike Hard, so maybe that helps me out with Skippy Longstocking. But I really do think this horse it knows how to handle this course and distance. There are 0 questions about that. I do think that the price, if he actually is the favorite, I'm going to be mad about that. I really think the Mott horse will get more of the money and be about 8-5 when they go off.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with the 5 horse. The race you're referencing that he won, they went 24-3, 47-4 in a final time of 137-4. They're going to go 22 and change in this race. He's going to have to go 2 seconds faster in this race to be able to replicate that. And guess what? We saw him go 22-4. He didn't end up doing so well. I think that was more of the problem last race, is that he got tired to 22-4, 45-3, and chasing that pace, and end up the final time at 135-3, 2 seconds faster is why he finished third instead of winning. And simplification in here is the kryptonite in my mind to Skippy Longstocking, because that horse is going. You know that every race, that's the one thing he has consistently done. 22-2 and 22-1 in its last 2 sprint races. I think the 3 and the 5 are really tough on each other in this spot. And I think that, if you want to say the 2 and strike hard, okay, I wouldn't talk you off it. I think the 6 is the better horse of the 2 and the 6, but to me, the 3 and the 5 really hurt each other in here.
I'm hoping that the blinkers stop that from happening, because otherwise, yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a good chance it can happen. I'm going to trust in Safi at this point. We've pretty much talked about everybody else in here. The one horse reminds me of that stupid freaking Oaklawn sprinter Kalleward, who had like 15 races as a 2-year-old and somehow was able to win that stakes race at Oaklawn. Made me mad. I really hate that one horse. Hope it doesn't win. Let's move on. Final leg, late pick 4 at Gulfstream Park, Saturday, January 1st. Happy New Year's to you. Race 11. We're back on the Tapeta. That's a lot of fun. Dozen older males plus and also eligible in for $10,000 tags in this race. Favoritism is on number 3, Utrecht at 3-1. You also have the number 4, Timmy M at 7-2. Timmy, I'm hitting the all button in this race. Where are you going on top?
I don't blame you for hitting the L button on this race. It's a little bit of a mess. I had 2 must-uses. One of them was the 3, Utrecht, who is the favorite here. But the one I liked the most was the 6 horse, Marissa's Mission. Get 8-1 price here. Miguel Vasquez up. This horse is going to try and go 2 for 3 over this Tapeta course. And I love the fact that late in the 4-year-old year, we got a step into the Tapeta, runs at 73 Beyer, career best, comes out, next time out, improves to a 78 Beyer, which is career best. I like the fact that we have some tactical speed that we showed 2 back. Last time, a little bit faster pace. We came from off the lead. Emoji Guy wins that race 2 back. That's been a very good horse in the Florida circuit. Easy Stride, Resident Liberal behind Mira's Mission last time. Those are decent horses there as well. So I like the kind of the form that we've seen come back from these 2 races on the Tapeta. I think this is kind of a surprisingly high price. I was actually expecting Marissa's Mission to be the morning line favorite when I picked this, and not Utrecht, the 3 horse. So I'm happy to take the 8-1 price here on the 6 horse, who just seems to be improving and likes the Tapeta course. I do like the 3 horse Utrecht here as well. Look, this is a nice claim. Gustavo Delgado, 38% off the claim. Yeah, it's only 8 subsets, so 3 for 8, but it's still pretty darn good. I like the fact that Paco rides through it. I also didn't love the trip last time for Paco. The horse kind of got shuffled early in that race. You can kind of see it where it goes 6, 5 lengths back to 7, 9 lengths back. Then makes this middle move all the way up to 5th, 3 lengths back, and this kind of flattens out down the lane. I kind of want to see what this horse is able to do with a little bit cleaner of a trip. So I like the fact that we're also stretching out a little bit more, because that effort 2 back I think was a little bit better. All these reasons, give me the 3 and the 6 on top. I am going 4 deep here, but those are the 2 must-uses for me.
I love that Paco was riding through the claim on the 3 Utrecht. So whenever you see a higher profile jockey like how Paco Lopez ride through a claim on a horse like this, and then it's going to a barn that's 3 for its last 8 first off the claim, yeah, that's a pretty good sign. I like this one. What's interesting with this horse is that 2 out of his last 3 races, 2 of his last 4 races, 2 of the last 3 faced Farley. Farley keeps beating him. So did you use Farley in this race? Because I was like, I almost feel like if you use Utrecht, you have to use the 5 Farley just because he keeps managing to beat Utrecht.
Yeah, I did. And one of the main reasons I used Farley was actually the last race. I've talked about how speed has not been great. On the Tapeta, they went 23-2, 46-1 for 1 mile and 70 yards, and this horse held second. It's a really good effort considering everything else that happened in that race. Benefactor came back as a favorite and lost, but Benefactor actually got bet out of that race as well, which is the thing I like about Farley there. So I think that the 5 makes sense. I don't love the 5-1 price considering that last time we were getting 24-1 and the horse just kind of fell short, but that was a really nice effort over this Tapeta. It was only the 3rd time the horse has run on Tapeta. In the first effort, it actually won here at Gulfstream Park. The second time, you got to throw that race out. And this is kind of important. At mile 16th at Gulfstream on Tapeta, the 10 out of 10 post is not great, especially when you want to be forwardly placed and you have to run into that turn so quickly. So you watch that race back. The horse kind of lost in that first turn, went right to the lead, which was a problem for Farley. And then you can see just quit. And that kind of makes sense when the speed's not holding and you have to sprint out of the 10 post to get to the front. it's a really bad setup. The other 2 Tapeta races are good. I do like the 5 Farley as well as one of my includes.
Nick in the chat says Brisnet has 8 and 11 listed as the best speeds, and the horses are 31 and 15 to 1. First of all, Nick, I think that just adds to what Mike said. This is a good all button race. Did you consider using the 8 or the 11 at all?
So I looked at the 8 a little bit. My main problem with the 8 was that we're coming out of that same Farley race, and I in the Farley Benefactor race, and this horse was way back, 15 lengths back in last place in that race. Came from the 1 post, actually got a relatively good trip, and gets up to 7th, but just never really threatened anything. I think Farley did a lot more work to be able to get up there. The 8 was also 68 to 1 in that race. So 30 to 1 might be an underlay on the 8 in this spot. The 10's interesting to me because of the simple fact that like we have no synthetic form to talk of here for the 10 horse. So that kind of is a little bit of that we talk about how sometimes it just have those the unknowns. And in this case, I think that the synthetic here is kind of an unknown for this horse. Now, the problem with Brethren, who's a sire, we are currently 0 for 17 with 0 seconds and 1/3 routing on synthetic.
Ooh.
So not great when you're talking about the sire of the 11. So that I did look at both of them. The 8 I talked about there, and the 11 it was the sire that really took me off the horse.
Yeah, well, Brethren is also a really great sire when it's Florida breds and they're 2 years old. This is neither one. This is a 5-year-old, freshly turned 5-year-old facing open company. So I don't know that I would use those ones there. But any other horses that we haven't talked about that maybe you might be worried about or nervous that you didn't use in this spot?
Well, I did use Timé as well. So this is one where Daniel Pita decides to claim it and keep the horse at the $10,000 level, but claimed it himself. Horse wins at 12,500. Non-winners are 1 in a year over this Tapeta surface. And this is another horse that, just seems to like the Tapeta surface. I like the fact that we've got 3 races. We got 74, 74, 75 buyer. Each time we've been at least threatening to win, ran second in 2 of those and won the 3rd race. Was the favorite last time out and was just missed at the $10,000 level, coming right back. You even have bigger buyers on the turf as well. So you've got some 80s in the back class there on the turf buyers. So for me, this is one that I think you kind of have to include as well, especially if you're playing a cheaper ticket. So I ended up 4 deep here, went 3, 4, 5, 6. But this race is wide open. If you want to take a couple swings, I think you can. If we get 8 to 1 on the 6 horse, I'm probably going to be putting a win bet in.
I really like Timmy M in this spot as well. The horse that finished 3rd last time out won on the turf, and 16K claimers at Tampa got a 77 buyer. So some good back class come out of that race. So beat the horse by a neck. Pita 0 for 4 first off the claim. I also was like, well, I'm going to look at the works, and it's like, oh, bullet work, June 25th. Okay, well, that's right. We're at the bottom of the barrel. I forgot.
This is you hear the off a claim thing, and that's one thing when you're stepping up in class. When you really, all Pete has to do is keep this horse as is for 20 days from the previous race to this race. A similar effort to the last 3, and this horse seems to just be in form. Just keep on keeping on, and I think you're right there with everybody. So I don't worry as much off the claim when you're in a situation where the trainer is bringing it back at the same level, where you see multiple efforts that are good enough to get the job done recently. It's not like we're trying to take a big jump up or anything.
Right, yeah, we're not going from 5K claimers up to a greatest stakes race or something like that.
Yep, we're not pulling a Mike Miller here or Mike Maker.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to talk about the late pick 4 sequence on January 1st at Gulfstream Park, including the Mucho Macho Man Stakes. If you want an in-depth analysis of that race from Aaron Halchman, go to youtube.com/racingdudes, or it's on racingdudes.com as well. You can check that out there. Mike and I are going to go through our tickets one last time. If you're watching on the live or on the replay, take a look below. We've got them right down here. I will start off. I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, then single the 8, then go 2, 5, and then I'm hitting the all button because that last race sucks. It's worth $36 for me.
Play a 50-cent ticket as well. I'm going to go with the 2, 3, 5, 6 with 1, 5, 6, 8 with 6 with 3, 4, 5, 6. Cost you $32 for 50 cents. If you want to play a $5 ticket, based on what we talked about, don't hate the idea of going in that first, what were we?
5, 6.
We were 5, 6. Yeah, don't hate the idea of going 5, 6 with Magic's 8 with my 6 with the 3, 6 here to close it out. And it'll cost you what, $20?
I mean, you're the math guy, sure. I've been drinking. I'm not gonna pretend to try and do math.
2 times 2 is 4 times 5 is 20.
See, there you go. I didn't even know. I wasn't even following the kind of math
that
was going on.
Math, buddy. Apparently, it's not 3-shot math though.
No, it's definitely not. Hey, it's been a fun year. I just realized this is going to be the last show that we actually do live here. So, Aaron, well, yeah, because Aaron picked freaking graphic detail, and there's your spoiler alert. He picked him in the Mucho Macho Man preview. So,
real quick, Cindy brings up a good point here. The 13 in the last race is an also eligible. If the 13 draws in, I think the 13 is interesting. I did not include the 13 on my tickets because it's an AE. But if I lose a horse in that last race, or if another horse is out and the 13 draws in, I will add the 13 on my 50-cent ticket since it's cheap enough to do it.
And since I am hitting the all button, I of course included the 13. Cindy, you're a genius. I'm with you.
You actually didn't.
Like
your scrolling message says, and I'll even prove it. It says 1 through 12 here. So
get off there. Stop producing. Stop producing in the background. That's my job. Hey, we got a little bit of time here. I'm gonna pull up a burning question for you. Ooh, this one I've wanted to ask you for a while. Okay, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors, or would you rather go to the future to meet your descendants?
I mean, obviously, it's rather go to the future to meet your descendants. I mean,
I agree, but why is that obvious, Mike?
Well, first off, you get to find out how everything played out, like how your kids did and all that jazz, which I think would be cool. Secondly, I would hit every freaking pick six ever.
That's it.
Why would
That's
you
exactly
ever not see the future in that case? Also, look, we know what happened in the past. I kind of want to see the cool shit we come up with in the future. Like, I want to have a jetpack and a flying car. I want to go Jetson on this stuff. You know, I don't want to go back and ride in a freaking carriage. Like, I would just imagine going back in time and having an iPhone, like if you brought it with you, but you can't charge it and you wouldn't be able to use it for cell phones. And there's no internet. Like, there's no use for it. And no thanks on going back in time. If I was going back in time, I would go back to ancient Egypt with a couple caveats, assuming that I'm upper class, because that would not be fun if you're not. So I would go back to some of those time frames, but no interest in going back to the ancestors that are over in Czechoslovakia working farms, eating crappy potatoes with no salt and stuff. No thanks.
Some of the answers in the chat are fun. Jason says he wants to see if the Giants ever have a winning season again. That's bad. The reason I brought it up is because I kind of wanted to see do you go with the time travel rules of Back to the Future or something else? In this case, I'm with you. You definitely want to go to the future because you're going to be able to know exactly all the pick sixes. You can hit them all. You can just be fine. Just give me one sport to master and I'll have fun with the others.
Honestly, I would not mess with horse racing. I would do it with sports betting.
Yes.
Because if you're going to be smart about this, horse racing, you're affecting your own odds, whereas sports betting, you have a fixed market. And you can also not, you get caught hitting every pick. At some point, people are like, this dude's cheating. I don't know how he's doing it. He had every pick six for 7 weeks straight. That's a problem. Whereas with sports betting, you can sprinkle the right amounts on the right things and no one would ever know anything. And you can make a nice, comfortable living and just have a good time and be fine. Never have to work another day in your life and be able to make, $1 million, $2 million bucks a year without any issue. So to me, it's just so much easier to do the sports betting side of it.
I mean, really, at that point, you're turning into Ace Rothstein, right? You're just that's what Ace Rothstein should have done if you ever seen the movie Casino. It's De Niro's character. But the dude was the sports betting king in Vegas. He should have just, stayed out of the mob stuff.
Well, he didn't necessarily know every outcome. He was fixing outcomes, but that kind of brings up another problem in the fixing outcome side because some people are involved in doing that. It's not, if I have an almanac and I know I went to the future and no one else does, I got a pretty nice edge as long as I keep my mouth shut.
I think Michael Myers is tipping his hand. You can find out when the Jaguars win the Super Bowl. By the way, I was watching, what was it, AEW. Aaron got me started to hook into AEW. I was watching a clip of CM Punk before this, and they were in Jacksonville, I think probably last night. And I didn't realize that Shad Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, his son is the CEO of AEW. So basically, Shad Khan he called MJF, the guy that he's the heel, a bigger waste of Shad Khan's money than Tim Tebow. I feel like that's a burn that you can't really rebound well from. That one hurts.
That does hurt. But you hit the nail on the head, and I'm sorry, Michael Myers. Look, Shad Khan is the problem in Jacksonville. Yeah, sure, there was a terrible hire. The whole Urban Meyer thing was a total train wreck. But they had a top tier defense that all wanted to just leave because the organization is such shit. I mean, it's the same problem in Washington. You see it in some of the sports organizations, specifically in the NFL, where you have problems from the ownership level down. And until you fix that top level, you're never going to get any better. The Redskins aren't going to win. Sorry. The Jacksonville Jaguars aren't going to win. Sorry. Just certain teams can't win until they fix their management issue. Houston.
Detroit Lions can't win until somebody burns it down and moves.
Yeah,
to
well,
Hamilton, Ontario.
You got at least your management structure isn't terrible. You need a new GM. I mean, I don't know why you're trading to Jared Goff, but like other than that, your management structure above it isn't bad.
Because Matthew Stafford was leaving, and we found out we could get a first-round draft pick for him. We're like, oh, okay, here, take him.
That's fair.
That's why. They were like, you have to take Jared Goff. That's fine. That's fine. We'll do whatever it takes. Alyssa, it's been a fun year. It's been a fun 2021. Thanks, everybody, for joining Mike and I on this one. As you've been able to tell for the last couple of months, we have a lot of things changing for next year at racenews.com. A lot of exciting, fun things happening. So hopefully you can join us for the ride. You follow us on Twitter. I am at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb, 18, number 1, number 8. Corporate overlords are at racing_dudes, and Blinkers Off will be live in 43 minutes at 4 Pacific. That's the time zone. 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. So make sure you tune into that one. If you do miss it live, you can download the podcast version anywhere that you're catching the Magic Mike show as well. Of course, go to youtube.com/racingdudes. Subscribe there. We got a lot of shit that's going to be going on that channel building up. It's a lot of fun. So appreciate you guys. We will see you in 2022. Until then, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike, and Kevin Ost. Drop me your email address, and everyone drop your pick 4 right below the video.
Boom. We'll see you in 2022, bitches.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.